Let's play some Spirit Hunters. So I have been messing with this a little bit. I didn't do too much grinding. I did unlock hard mode. So we're just going to dive into a hard mode run with Conrad and the Scythe. Alright, Conrad, let's go smack some things. Desert hard mode? Monster HP increases 10% every minute. What? Oh baby, this is going to be rough. Well, Conrad, my boy, time for you to get absolutely wrecked. But who knows? Maybe I'll make it work. Chances are we're gonna— oh boy, I forgot how many enemies show up on this. Okay, increase attack size. No, we want the orbital fire. We want the tornado. We just might as well grab all 4 of our spells. I didn't notice it the last time I was playing, but you, I don't have any money, so I can't really choose. I guess I'll grab the arrow. I'm not big on it. Okay. And increase attack size on the tornadoes. Tornadoes are going to be probably one of our better saving graces here. And extra damage on the cleave. Because ideally, I'd like to invest kind of hard on the cleave. Especially if I can... let's see. Especially if I can actually get that cooldown to be shorter. Ooh. Hat. Ow. Huh. Why do I only have 279 HP? I have no idea. Oh, yeah, because I think I originally had 300, but I wonder if they've made it so it's... oh, well, I'm just going to die, aren't I? Or the boss is just going to peace out? I do really hope they change it so... now, this bee is just going to kill me in it. Maybe. I know the boss is going to be pretty damn deadly. I can't do much when I get hugged. And that boss does like 40 or 50 damage to me. Yeah, you get 2 bosses right off the bat. I don't think Conrad's going to be able to tackle hard mode as he currently is. Okay. I can maybe kind of avoid. Okay, well, I didn't die, which is frankly kind of impressive. Alright. We have some options here. They're a bit rough. Let's see. Increase attack size? No, we're gonna make this smaller. We'll see what I can do. Yeah, it looks like they fixed the cleave so it actually tracks properly. Yeah, I know the developers watch my videos, at least to some degree, so I can kind of I think there's a reasonable expectation that some of the issues that I run into might get addressed in some way, shape, or form. I think many of them will not. I think many quote-unquote issues that I might deal with are actually just very intentional design choices. I still think EXP shouldn't disappear. I think it should... I think that's the one thing I will always be like, don't know about that. Okay. Here's the problem. I mean, interestingly enough, the boss himself is hardly an issue. Oh, do I do retaliatory damage? I might actually. I think I do. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, this is helpful. Oh, that's a lot of bees. Let's see. Increase damage, increase speed. I'd like to up its size a bit if I can, but there's only so much I can do about it. Okay, now we're about to get 4 bosses simultaneously. That's gonna be rough. I think my best bet is to side sweep the fire bat. I think I'm gonna... Yeah, I think I died. Yeah, I did die. Not bad, but we needed the cleave to pick up a lot more upgrades instead of the tornado and the orbital fire. Don't know about that one. Do we want to... Here, let's try a Conrad run with the scythe. Same deal as last time, except for... Wait. Conrad run. Orbital fire is 50% bigger. Let's do that. Let's do the Highlands, not hard mode. Because I know I can do this and I want to grab some more things. Upgrades leveling up seem very linear. They are. And honestly, it actually works out really well. Most of the time. I think the harder difficulties, the slower linear scale is going to be kind of tough. Now, do the bones only go up and down now? Huh. I think they do, actually. Do we want cleave? Yes. I think we do. Let's see. Wander, I've been in... trying out Ravita. Do you have more recordings of it? I think I do. I haven't gone back to it in a little while. And I might not for a little while. Do I want to grab the Grand Hex? Because I've done Tornado enough. Yeah, let's try a little bit of the Grand Hex and just see what I can do with that. But yeah, I have some more Ravita footage. I don't know if and when it's going to hit YouTube. Main thing is, from my audience perspective, a lot of people just didn't seem terribly interested in watching it, which was kind of rough. Because it very much communicated to me and it's like, yeah, maybe don't play this one. It's like, I always hate it when that happens. You know, if there's like a really good game that I like but doesn't do so well, I have to make the unfortunate entertainment mercenary decision between, well, do I play the thing that, like, I really enjoy the thing that I enjoy a fair bit, that also means I'm going to be able to, you know, retire. When I put it that way, it really doesn't seem like much of an issue. And, like, to some degree, it kind of isn't. I've long since kind of, well, not fully. I haven't fully put away my, like, distaste for how the algorithm favors certain games over others. I don't even know if it's fully the algorithm or if it's just kind of a combination of a massive multitude of factors. But fact of the matter is, some games do better than others. Do AoE size. There we go. I think I'm just gonna try and stick to one character per episode block. I don't know. Like, Spider-Cat and Sons of Valhalla wasn't ringing anyone's bells. Is Sons of Valhalla out? Because I thought that one wasn't actually out yet. But I could be wrong. I haven't been paying attention. The ultimate problem is, from like a video game perspective, there are more video games than people have time for. I think that's always been true, but it's especially bad nowadays. Or at least it feels especially bad nowadays. You know, back when I was a kid, it felt like, you know, there were only so many games that were, you know, that were being released, and so it was kind of easier to keep track of it. Admittedly, I only had a Nintendo console during the N64 and GameCube eras, so it was a little easier for me to just say, yeah, I'm just gonna pick up every mainline Nintendo game for the most part. And even then, skip out anything that had Mario in it, because I don't really care much for Mario. And, like, that worked rather well for the most part. Can I get the gold there? I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get the gold on the inside. No, there's the boss. The one problem is I haven't gotten a whole lot of health here. awkward. I'm like, I know I need to level up here a little bit. I'm hoping I can find a treasure chest or something of that variety. Do we want to go attack size? Yeah, I'm just going to keep upping the size on this. Oh, that's a lot of EXP down there. As the one problem at the moment. I desperately need EXP to power up, and I'm going to be in a dire spot because I don't have any of the pets that let me pick up more. Let's see. Ironically, SNES and PlayStation eras were some of the most plentiful. Not all games were mainline, but the more you dug, the more likely you are to stumble upon neat titles. Yeah, I wonder about that. Which eras have had the most video game output? Because, from my perspective, the indie game rush has been just so absolutely swamped with good games. Maybe not necessarily all of the incredible niche hits the way that the PlayStation and SNES era had, but I think they're very similar. Let's up the damage. Okay, we're definitely going to need those hearts, which luckily heal more than 10. There we go. Let's see. Nah, considering I'm using the fire as my kind of main damage source here. Let's see. And speed. And size. It doesn't get them all, but it gets enough. And size again. I was originally dismissive of the fire circle in terms of keeping enemies off of me. Or, not keeping enemies off of me, but just, what's the point of the damage over time effect if it's like the last thing that hits an enemy? I understand now. Yeah, let's try and grab some cleave upgrades. Big problem it just boils down to, there's all of this EXP that I'm just losing. Because I honestly can't get to it. Well, I don't know. We'll see. The thing is that indies nowadays have plenty of examples to make much better games than existed back in the early console eras. A lot of games back then were hobbled by limitations or obtuse design. Yup. No, I would say the indie boom is kind of a golden age. I have been hearing from a lot of people that that's not true from like a AAA perspective. And I do agree kind of with that. There was something, an article published recently talking about how, you know, the top played games of the last couple years have been like GTA 5 and Skyrim and all of these like old mega hit games that, you know, came out 5, 6, 10 years ago, something like that. And that, you know, it's kind of unusual for this to be the case. And I think it's a lot of that boils down to just the fact that most AAA games are kind of eh. How good the spirit hunting? Well, this character's not dead yet, which I actually consider to be a pretty solid W. Normally when I roll Conrad, he just freaking dies. I'm getting hugged by eyeballs, though. I think next time I try this, I'll go pure cleave, just because, well, not pure cleave. I don't really have much of a choice or control over that. Nah, let's keep making it bigger. Because I know with cleave at least, I can increase the, or with cleave at least, I can kind of guarantee that I get the EXP that it leaves behind. That boss does not understand the concept of personal space. Shit. And the immediate problem with this is, nope, never mind, he dead. Reroll this. See if I can get something better. Increase speed by 20%? Sure. that hits them slightly more often. Well, there's a heart down here, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get to it. We have not seen a single minion chest so far, which is a little rough. We'll say AAA is just out of touch and feels like more and more accurate as time goes on. I think it depends on the company. I think Sony and Nintendo still have their heads on the right. Well, interestingly enough, I say the big publishers still know what's up and how to make good games generally. I don't know about Halo Infinite. I can't talk about that one, but I know like in Microsoft's case, they kind of recognized that hard to go toe-to-toe, so instead they decided, yeah, what if we just what if we just kind of accrued a bunch of these AA developers and let's forge, the ultimate kind of consumer-grade console. And then Sony was like, hey, but what if we made just all of the best AAA games? And then Nintendo was like, hey, what if we just kept being Nintendo? And all of those work. It's the other publishers and stuff that I feel like have kind of lost their way. Maybe just did not have their way for the longest time anyway. Cyberpunk and Battlefield still made profit, so even if they're bad games, they're still profitable. I don't feel like profit is... I don't want my personal feelings to get into this argument too much, but I always say the argument of, well, it was profitable, therefore it was good, and it's like, I mean, yeah, but so is, like, lead paint. I know that's a false equivalency, but it's the easy one I can think of at the very least. I'm sure there's better options, but I don't know. It just, the older I get, the more I run into people that kind of equate financial success with virtue. And that always weirds me out to a pretty extreme degree. And I think a lot of that is somewhat on me. Do one more attack size on Orbital Fire. Big spin. I'm a fairly privileged person ultimately when it comes down to it, and so yeah, my priorities are not as much on finances. I mean, they still are, but I think for a lot of other people, money matters a little bit more. And then after a certain point, it's kind of like a weird bell curve that after a certain point, money really matters to these people, and that's when it gets weird for me. Okay, I kind of need to pop the chest open. I'm going to use it as, yes, a blocker so the boxing dude can't hurt me. Okay. Let's up my scythe damage. At this point, it's getting good enough that I can feasibly use it. Nike is more expensive but not good quality shoe. Good profit does not make a good product. But a lot of people will argue with you on that one. I always feel awkward about it. It's kind of the same with like microtransactions. It's like, we managed to extract X amount of wealth from the players of this game. That means it's good. And it's like, I don't know. Horse armor sold millions. Yeah, but did that actually make the game better? Who cares? And it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a cultural shift because of how parents wanted their children to do better and so push them to see affluence as being successful. I mean, if we want to get super deep in this, I feel like there was a whole generation of adults that were sold the myth of money is morality. And, I often find, there are a number of people that generally came into adulthood in the 80s when things were really good. That it's kind of easy to accrue that kind of mentality because you kind of, I mean, I think just by being an adult, you sell yourself by bits and pieces. How much of you are you willing to kind of monetize or compromise to make your life work? Do you get the mediocre job, or Do you get the mediocre job that you love, you know, pays poorly, but you're really passionate about what you're doing? Or do you get the job that pays really well and then dedicate, you know, some of that money either to charity or to retiring early so then you can get back to what really matters or anything like that? And it feels like for quite a number of people, at least for a generation or three, there was kind of a period of time where society was like, hey, yeah, sacrifice pretty much everything, but you're going to live fairly well. And I think that worked. And I think a lot of people were really drawn in by that because it was easy. Now, how many kids did I know growing up whose parents had like big dreams and creative aspirations? I know this is more hypothetical. I'm specifically thinking of like a couple of adults. But I knew one guy that was like really big on art history and like classics and a bunch of other things. And then ended up working doing, what, there was a mid-boss in there? Ended up working doing just kind of basic accounting for a, I don't even know actually where he was working necessarily. And it was interesting because he had a lot of artwork in his office and you could tell like the guy was deeply passionate about it, but awkwardly so. You know, that they kind of wouldn't allow themselves to experience or like go back to this thing that they loved dearly because it's kind of the childish thing that people put away. It's kind of why you see a lot of narratives about, let's see, increase attack speed. This is ridiculous, by the way. How are we doing this well without a single damn pet? But that's okay. I don't know. Anyway, but there's often a narrative in regards to like gaming, for example. You know, when are you going to grow up and get like an adult hobby or, you know, act your age or something to that extent? And I always find that kind of ridiculous because oftentimes people will say that to me and then go back to watching the football game and I'm like, what is the difference between you and I in this moment? And the real answer is they're voicing their judgmental thoughts and I'm just thinking it. Came back to Chicken Massacre. I set shit on fire and it's great. I did not expect to have this banger of a Conrad run, but all you need to do is just hit hard and walk slow. I used to think I would always play video games. The older I get, the less into video games I am. There's actually a very good reason for that kind of beyond. For one, video games are a time commitment. It's difficult to actually find the time and the energy to engage with them in the same way that you might have when you were younger, you know. Even today, for example, I woke up and said, I'm gonna just play a shit ton of Final Fantasy. It's not my day off, but I can't work because there's a workman outside and it's freaking loud. And so I can't actually, you know, do any work today. But instead what I did was went on a 3-4 hour adventure to buy bike helmets and a pair of sandals. And that still happens when you're a kid, but I think it's easier to kind of carve time out for yourself when you're a child. Whereas when you're an adult, you have plenty of things that will kind of... Oh, there's the pet. This might be kind of dire. Is part of the reason why I wanted, yeah, this is why I was like, maybe I should have spec'd into Cleave. Because if you spec into Cleave, you can just stun lock this guy. Alas. And one pet and it's out of reach. I mean, still dang good run, but oh well. Alright. So what do we grab? I heard bad things about the shuriken, so I might want to stay away from that. Can't get that. Yeah, unfortunately most of these I can't actually grab. I heard good things about the magic mod, so I might want to grab that. Okay, so magic mines are 10% bigger. Ooh, that's expensive. Okay, well, Oh well. What is Conrad's fusion with this? Magic mines are 50% bigger. I like the idea of that, but we gotta start with cleave. Let's do Highlands one more time. Tornado and magic mine are so good. Yeah, I'll mix that. I don't think the bones really helped me. And while I liked the orbital fire, I think I'd prefer to go like tornado, mines, cleave, and maybe orbital fire, but I don't increase the size at all. I don't know, I'll think about it. This would be my third run, by the way. Seeing as that's being asked. I don't think I like the hex rune yet, but maybe we'll get there. Okay, and I want to focus fire cleave. If I can get that cooldown to be less than a second by like a lot, that would actually be quite nice. Okay, so I was kind of spears, maybe. Spears are kind of slow, but I'll grab them. The bones are okay, but they don't get numbers anymore, which makes them kind of eh. Okay, increase number by an additional 1. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, so, for starters, as an adult, you take less time to actually engage in leisure activities for yourself. Whew, that's one hell of a cooldown on the magic mine. It's kind of worth it. Okay, I should probably be wandering off a little bit. Because we have to find pets if I can. Or a merchant, or both. It's gonna be rough if I don't. So yeah, you take less time for yourself as an adult because you have all of these extra responsibilities. It's very difficult to justify, at least from the adults that I know in my life, it's very difficult for many of them to justify just doing something purely leisurely for a long period of time. Especially like over the course of a day or multiple days. You know, the best most adults do are vacations for a good reason, and vacations are often quite worth it. But I remember there was something I was reading about. I was reading something about how humans don't actually finally start to relax when they go on vacation. Humans don't start to relax until the like 4th day of their vacation or something to that extent. I forget the exact numbers, but it's like a lot. You have to spend a lot of time to truly disengage before you can actually start to recover from whatever you're on vacation from. And like I know friends that like even beyond the whole vacation thing, they'll talk about wanting to take time for themselves and can't do it. Because they are, they feel guilty for taking time off or relaxing or any number of things. But the other main reason why I think a lot of people kind of disengage with video games the older they get is been there, done that syndrome. You know, when you're a kid, games seem fresh and new and interesting all the time. Let's see, can I reroll? I don't want to upgrade spears, really. Whereas the older you get, the more likely you are to see repeated tropes or game mechanics or ideas in such a way that, aren't that, it's not as interesting. So, for example, what are some good examples here? I mean, Pokemon games. Your first Pokemon game is always kind of a magic experience. And then your second one's maybe even better because you understand better and you can kind of optimize it. But then once you're up to like your 3rd or your 4th, boy, Pokemon gets real stale. It's kind of nice comfort food, but there's not a whole lot of interest to it. And yeah, I realize some of the irony of this as I'm playing a game that is very overtly inspired by multiple games that have come out over the past couple months. Do I want the movement speed on this character? Actually, yes. I think he kind of needs them. Oh, I should have gone for the cleave upgrade. On the flip side, these tornadoes are actually really helpful. And the mines are kind of nice because they hit everything behind me. Because they seem to just pop up at my feet and anything chasing me gets wrecked by them. I think it's what I was expecting the entangle to work like, but still. Let's see. What else was I going to say? I don't know. But so, I can definitely see why a lot of people probably lose a lot of interest in video games over, you know, over the course of their lives. You know, maybe you might have been a big gamer when you were younger, in high school, elementary school, you know, anywhere in between. But it's easy to lose that along the way. I don't know. Let's see. Increase number, increase... No, we want to keep increasing the number. I just want to use those to just completely destroy. It works. It works. See, not to step on my soapbox too high, but the relaxation thing is we aren't taught how to relax. Struggle with it. Therapies helps with it immensely. Yeah, I've heard about that. I know that's true from my perspective. Really, relaxing is freaking hard, and I'm more than likely. I am far more likely to engage in. I'm way more likely to engage in a new kind of hobby project than I am to engage in actual proper relaxation. You know, I have difficulty watching a television show, for example, even if it's one I like, because I feel like I need to be doing something. You know, I can't just be sitting here doing nothing. And some amount of that is probably undiagnosed ADHD or who knows what, but meh. I don't know, and I don't feel comfortable just like fully bandying that around just because internet has had an effect, and also just, you know, when you're self-employed, everything you do could make you more money, and so it's really difficult to move away from that. But yeah, distraction is easier than relaxing. Yeah. Though sometimes it's easier than others. This morning I got really into reading a manhwa and pretty much spent I think it was like 4 hours reading. And I regret nothing, but that's very rare for me. I'm trying to push it further. Books and easy to pick up distractions that are relaxing are kind of important. It's the internet I gotta stay away from. The internet just eats me alive and pretty much spits me back out again an unhappier person a couple hours later. We're not very high DPS here, which is unfortunate. It keeps trying to give me spear upgrades that do damage, and then upgrades for everything else that do anything else. Oh well. Tried a sensory deprivation pod and you couldn't get your brain to shut off. Oof. That would be interesting, but yeah, I feel like I'd be much the same way. I tried meditation a long time ago as kind of like a, well, maybe this will help me relax in college. And the answer was, no, I just usually sat there thinking about things. I don't necessarily know if that was bad, but it definitely wasn't as relaxing as it could have been. Okay. Well, we're just clobbering this chicken into next Tuesday. I guess I'm just gonna keep doing that, because why not? Eventually it'll die. I would like to increase my cleave damage, but I don't know. Wait, did it die? I don't... Oh, no, it's just underneath. Pop over here for a second, grab a couple of these. Okay, tornado cooldown rate. The fact that it's taken this long for that to show up is a little rough, but oh well. These guys don't do much damage to me. I've been playing Nomad Survivors. I don't think that footage is going to hit YouTube for a little while, but I've been playing that too, and it is interesting how different the two are in terms of gameplay. Because for this one, you get hit by an enemy and it does a chunk of damage, but it doesn't like kill you that quick. You get hit in Nomad Survivors Survival, and like you just start melting and you have to get out of there. It's rough. Let's see, increase damage by 1. Yep. I still want to put more upgrades into my scythe, but I guess it's actually taking a decent amount. It's just all into cooldown reduction and AoE. Well, Anna. It's fine. Look at all this wasted EXP that I can't reach, though. I think this is probably going to be one of my last Conrad runs for a while. Just because, geez, poor guy cannot pick anything up. Oh, here we go. This might be the answer to my woes. Okay. Crit chance on the scythe, I guess. It's not really strictly a damage upgrade in the way that I'd like, but I'll take it. It needs a global magnet. Yeah, I think personally just EXP should not disappear, and there should be a magnet power-up. That's it. That's all it really, I think it really needs. It feels so much better. Probably make the game lag more, which is probably the reason why they're not doing it, but I'm not entirely sure. Gosh, I love how short these runs are. I've said it a couple of times now, but it's very satisfying, you know, knowing that I only have 5 minutes left on this run. I know there's kind of that desire of like, oh, but I haven't quite brought this build to completion yet. It could be better. The answer is, yeah, it could be. Or I could just say, eh, whatever. You know, let go. Learn to let go. Say that was a fun run. Can't wait for the next one. I'm curious if there are other runs with a longer duration, though. They could do Vampire Survivor's way and make EXP clump up into higher value EXP pieces. I think that's the best way to do it, and I sincerely hope the developers do that. It's interesting. This happens every once in a while, where there will be a game that is effectively a genre touchstone. You know, so important to whatever the genre is. So, Slay the Spire, Enter the Gungeon, Binding of Isaac, let's move away from roguelites to some degree. I don't know, like PUBG and Fortnite and whatnot. And like World of Warcraft. And so with so many of these games, you often had them kind of developing a meta of some variety. Of like, here are the things that are almost kind of instrumental in these games being good. And if your WoW killer, your, you know, Gungeon-like, your Slay the Spire, deck builder, roguelike style game, you know, if your roguelike deck builder doesn't have interesting card upgrades or a relic system, like, you better have something else to kind of stand in its place. Otherwise, why would anybody play your game over this other game? And the answer is sometimes you can actually have your own merits that are actually pretty good. You know, I'm trying to think of good examples. Well, I mean, Monster Train, for example, still did have card upgrades, but it was almost a completely different ballpark. And also incredibly satisfying. And so for that one, it was kind of easy to move from Slay the Spire to Monster Train with no feelings of like, man, this could have been better, or why would I play this over Slay the Spire? Because it had enough of its kind of own gravity to make it worth it. I like Monster Train more than Slay the Spire, it just hit different. Yup. Yeah, there were very similar games, but Monster Train was just fun. Slay the Spire was mostly fun. I think Monster Train also kind of won out because it was lightly a monster collection game. Even though you probably don't hear a whole lot of people saying that. And the only reason why at this point I prefer Slay the Spire is because the mod support on Slay the Spire is so ridiculously good in comparison that it's a little harder to be, you know, go back to Monster Train, which hasn't changed in the last, you know, couple years. They had one DLC that came out like a while back, and that was about it. There we go, I'll kill the fairy boss. Hey, despite all the disappearing EXP, this isn't so bad. There we go, good luck on the run. Well, I mean, we're almost done with it. I think I'm fine. I think we might even be able to win this one. Nah. More attack size on the cleave. I want to just be able to cut through everything. To be fair. But it's fair for a game to be complete. It's true. I think if you're... I think this is true. I think it just is an important thing to kind of mention when you're comparing like one game's longevity to another. It's part of the reason why Skyrim will always be probably the more successful product over almost any other action RPG. You know, open world sandbox action RPG. Is the sheer value of that mod support pushes it so much further than like a game that doesn't have it. Because I can go back to Skyrim every couple of years and feel like I had a new experience. I can't really go back to Mass Effect and have that same reaction. I'm trying to think of other games with like extensive mod support. Factorio versus like even Satisfactory. I still prefer Satisfactory at this point. But it's undeniable that the Factorio mods help considerably at making it more interesting. Minecraft, yes! Minecraft is a great example, or Terraria. Both of which are fantastic games on their own, but they get stale. Not that slowly, even. And, you know, having that extra mod support means you can take Minecraft, you could play Minecraft every day of the year, and as long as you cycle in some interesting mods periodically, it will feel like a new experience every time. It'll still be familiar, but it'll still be interesting. It's why when I was a kid I played non-stop StarCraft Battle.net games. Because... oh, damn it. I was just about to go shopping, jerk. There we go. At least I can bully him, like, really hard. He cannot handle my knockback. I was wondering about this with Conrad, and it's like, is there a way to actually beat this guy? Because it doesn't feel like it. The answer is, no, never mind, there's 100% a means of doing so. I wonder if, when I kill this guy, if I can bum rush the shop real quickly. No! Well, that was stinky. Well, probably should have seen that coming, but is what it is. I am blown away by how fast that is. The greed. It wasn't even greed, I was just hanging out near the edge because I was hoping I killed the boss. And then I guess not. Oh well. It definitely needs a better telegraph when it's happening. Chest will open a second faster, actually. Do we want to pick that one up real quick? Yeah, that's kind of useful. And gets us over here. Damage mitigation +1. Oh, it's another pet. The spikes are insta-death? I don't know if they're necessarily insta-death, but they are nearly insta-death. Oh, there's another chest open speed. Wonder if you can actually get that to be like hyper fast. Maybe.